This is Maria Gentile. You are listening to Loose Lips with Avelli and Tim Moss, and I love them both equally.
Hey, Tim.
Hey, Ike, how are you?
I am well.
Right?
I am trying my best to put a smile on my face.
Absolutely. And you've been doing good. Is that the same outfit that you had on for Tri-Varsity Talks? Couldn't even change your outfit.
I'm sorry, I changed the t-shirt.
Yes, we just had the recording right before this of Tri-Varsity.
Yes, yeah, just did Tri-Varsity Talks with Wendy Stewart. We had a great guest on, H. Les Brown.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Wonderful, wonderful gentleman. Incredibly. So, unfortunately, as everyone knows out there, my partner in crime passed away February 14th, Valentine's Day. So, Tim, thank you so much for coming out and being with me. I didn't think I needed anyone, but I'm so blessed that you were there.
Yep.
So I appreciate that.
My pleasure. Well, it wasn't my pleasure by any means, but it was. But I'm glad I was there.
Yes, me too. Yep. And a lot of tears.
How are you doing?
I am keeping busy by doing this, working. Right. It's a distraction, but that alone time.
Yeah, right.
It's a nightmare.
Yep. But it's also very important to grieve, to allow yourself to grieve. And, so don't worry about that. Just, sometimes you just got to sit down and cry. And
cry. Oof.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, this is, something that mental illness is not a joke. Right. It really is not. And I wish people would start paying attention more. For me, there was nothing I could do.
Right, exactly.
As much as I tried, for years and years and years, unfortunately, I could not prevent it, which I think is even more heartbreaking.
Right. I mean, there's more guilt with that. Right. But like you said, it's not your fault. You can only do so much.
I know.
And I unfortunately lost another friend this week.
Yes.
And again, mental health issues and all of that, I think it just got to be too much. And it's something that is really going on in our country right now that we really need to address. That it's pretty rampant. I was talking to a friend of mine today that she is a social worker for a college.
Okay.
And what her job is to talk to the students, and if they need help, to refer them for therapy and help them help guide them.
Right.
And she said there is such a backlog on therapists and therapy right now from these past 2 years.
That's frightening.
Yeah, it is.
Frightening.
It is.
Well, I kept, what I'm going to do now is I am going to keep paying his cell phone, continuously pay it so I can update him with text messages.
Oh, I love that.
Or leave voicemails and just, keep him in the loop of what's going on and things that he may be missing.
Yep. I think that's very cool. That's very cool.
But we're going to try to keep this on a high note.
You're so much lower than that.
I know, right? But our show is sponsored by Überlube.
We love Überlube.
And Überlube comes in all different travel sizes. They have it now in red and gold. I know.
I need those.
Red, gold, and black and silver. And they have the large bottle.
Yes.
And they have the small bottle. And you can go to Überlube.com and you can purchase their products and learn more about them.
Their products are wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
Yes. So, Tim.
Yes.
Do we have a special guest today?
We do. I love this one.
I can't.
Well, firstly, our guest tonight, she has been a force in New York City since 1992, directing, teaching in schools, cabaret venues, theaters. She's also a songwriter and been nominated for MAC Awards in the Songwriter and Piano Bar Entertainer category since 2003. She's recorded 2 albums and won a MAC Award for one of her compositions.
Ah, yes. And she has made her mark on the legendary New York City hotspots like the Duplex, Brandy's Piano Bar, and Stonewall. She currently hosts one of my favorite shows.
I know.
What's the Story with Maria? Every Tuesday night live at 9 p.m. on Facebook. You and I were guests on there, by the way.
Yes.
And she works in the voiceover industry, which I think is incredible.
Yep.
I gotta do that. I really do. Plus, she has had her line of her own home-cooked sauces.
I see you've broke into that one.
And sauces and meats with, go ahead, keep eating.
Yeah.
And the woman can do it all.
Yes.
So welcome, Maria Gentile.
Yay!
Wow, what an introduction. I was like, who is she? I can't meet her. She sounds busy.
Maria, thank you for coming on our little tiny show.
Oh my God, it's my pleasure. I love both of you so much. You're such bright lights.
Oh, you are amazing.
And I really, really appreciate you asking me to come on. And if it's okay, I'd like to say quickly, because I know you're right. We got to bring it up. But I think there's something very important. There's something in Al-Anon, and Al-Anon applies to everything, really. Al-Anon is just like kind of the language of letting go of things you can't control. And it's called the 3 C's. I didn't cause it, I can't cure it, and I can't control it. And what it is it's a great way of forgiving yourself, because you can love someone to pieces, and when they're suffering, it has so little to do with that. It has to do with their inner turmoil. And but I think as loving people as we are, we take it personally, and we feel like we could have done something different. I wish there was something I could have done. And I just wanted to say that, because
thank you. Dan, you know what, that information that you just gave me, the 3 C's, is something I did not know, and I appreciate you giving that to me.
I learned it. I learn things every year. I learned I worked in social work for many years with teenagers, and I'm also, someone that has been in therapy for off and on for many years, and I love it.
Good.
So, I just wanted to say that, because
thank you.
You're both great people, and I know you've had hard weeks lately, and I just wanted to send some love that way.
Thank you so much. And I have to say, I'm looking at the background with your guitars there. Do you play?
You know what? I do play guitar, and this is my disclaimer. I play guitar, but I play predominantly for myself. Okay. So when I play, the reason I put that disclaimer in is because I'm better when I play for myself, because I can create as I go, or like I cheat a little bit. There's certain chords I hate to play because they're hard.
Yeah.
They're annoying. So I find other ways to do it. But I also, because of that, I tend to lean towards jazz chords. So I've written a couple of my songs on the guitar, and on those that are on my album, I do play the guitar.
Okay.
And sometimes in classes I played, like for instance, today I've been working with this amazing company in the last few months called Road Recovery, and they're the coolest people. And what they are is all musicians, and they're all in recovery. That's part of our job. We have to have we had to have walk that walk,
right?
Have that experience, and we work with kids like in crisis youth. And youth in crisis. I'm sorry. And now today I was at the center, at the LGBTQ center, working with young people and creating. We write songs, we do different things, and it's just really amazing. So in that sense, I'm helping them write songs. I've been playing for them, but I feel most comfortable when I'm playing for myself, I guess.
What's your dog name?
She's scratching at she's like, why can't I be on screen?
Oh, adorable.
She's so sweet. I'm going to
What's
put
her name?
Rizzo, like Betty
Rizzo. That's
Betty
right.
Rizzo.
Yeah, Rizzo.
She's more of a Frenchie. She's very sweet. She wouldn't hurt a fly. She has no attitude. She just likes to be on screen a little bit. So.
Animals, music, all therapeutic.
Yep, absolutely.
A diva.
So yes, I do play the guitar, and I've written a couple of the songs that are on both my albums. I've written on the guitar, and I do play those, and I love playing it. I'm just not. I gotta say, I'm not so disciplined. Where kind of like avoid the hard stuff. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I'd rather just do the pretty stuff that I do for me, so.
Yeah.
Now, who did you listen to growing up? Like, who were your icons?
Well, different. Stevie Wonder, huge. Elton John, of course. That's my era. And just like so many of those 70s songwriters, like James Taylor, I love. But as singers, my influences were Gladys Knight. Just adore Gladys Knight. And I don't know if you guys, you probably do, but a lot of people don't know who Jane Oliver is. Do you know who Jane Oliver?
I'm always chasing rainbows.
Okay.
So Tim, you would love Jane Oliver, and it's O-R at the end. So that's why people sometimes can't find it. O-L-I-V-O-R. Jane Oliver was like and also I loved Gloria Estefan. I love the way that they phrase. But my favorite female singer of all time is Karen Carpenter.
What a voice.
What an ear.
Yeah. And you know what I noticed about her really late in my life is what makes her voice so appealing is not her high notes, but her low notes.
Yeah.
She does have high notes, but it's that her range is that she can reach those really low, rich, beautiful tones.
Perfect tone.
Yeah, that a lot of people cannot.
Wow. And that's funny you should bring that up because our house this is in the 70s, never failed every holiday season. I think it was A Christmas Portrait, the album with the Carpenters, and played it beginning to end. And I think back then there weren't many Christmas albums. It was like Streisand, the Carpenters, Johnny Mathis. And those were the ones that were continuously played every single year.
Yep. I love that whole Carpenter sound. I can't help it. I love that era of music, the Burt Bacharach era.
I was just thinking about them the other day, because during the 60s, that was a time of rebellion, and it was time of acid rock and Jimi Hendrix and Janis Joplin and like all of that was going on. But then you had the Carpenters that never changed.
That's a really good point.
They were like a voice of reason in the middle of all of that.
That's a really good point. I never even thought of that. But you're right. And they weren't, well, the brother was a little bit, he turned out to be like a Christian kind of born again crazy. I mean, I was going to say no judgment, but.
Right.
There's a little bit of judgment.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, when they get, here's my big thing, and I don't want to go on too long about it, but I love God. I'm a huge fan of God. I love spirituality. I love a higher power. But don't try to control me with it, because then it's no longer God. It's you trying to control people.
Correct.
Exactly.
Amen.
I love spirituality. I love kindness. It's like, that's the real God. God is in other people, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but he was, even though he was a kook, he was an amazing arranger. So even though they didn't write all the songs, but he did those arrangements. They were beautiful. But a lot of those songs were written by like Paul Williams, who was one of them.
Oh, right.
Remember Paul Williams?
Yes.
I just saw him in a movie the other night.
Really?
Was it? Is there a documentary about him?
I heard there is.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. But
I heard it was excellent.
Amazing songwriter. And all those 70 songs, just like beautiful, beautiful stuff.
Yeah.
I just gravitate towards those really pretty melodies. So
we need more of those again.
Right.
I feel like we do. Although I will say, in the defense of newer music, like I think there was a time period, maybe in the last 20 years, where we really fell off the edge of the earth. There was really garbage out there. Now,
well, it was just commercial.
It sounded the same.
Yeah. And the 80s was like that in a way too. I love the 80s, but the 80s was dance music.
Yeah.
It wasn't all great melodies. It was just a lot of that kind of club, which is fine. But if you're talking about melodies, in the 90s, early 90s, we had some beautiful stuff, like all that Mariah stuff, beautiful melodies. I do believe it's kind of starting to come back, like with the Ed Sheeran stuff.
Yep.
Yes.
Even some Justin Bieber is kind of like melodic.
Yeah. Where he's come from to today. Yeah. His music is really good. I enjoy it. And Ed Sheeran.
You got it. Yeah. Ed Sheeran. I just think he's wonderful. Alicia Keys, like
Shawn Mendes.
Yes. I think it's coming, it's swinging back a little bit where people are caring more about melodies and not just like cranking out like crazy.
Same
auto tune,
right?
And just shock value stuff. Like, I like a lot of things are fun, but I'm going to admit something that's going to shock you, but I'm a little bit of a prude.
Yeah, really?
Yes, you wouldn't think that, would you?
No,
but I am secretly like an old Italian lady that's like, oh my God, I can't believe what is wrong with her? Don't you respect like that lady lives in me. So
okay. All right. So I'll tame my parody numbers then when you're around.
No, I just like some of the stuff that like I'm not a huge fan of Cardi B.
Same here.
You know, I'm just like, all right, put the brakes on all. You don't need all that.
Yeah, it's a little too much.
It's that old Italian lady that's like, what are you doing? You're giving it away. Nobody wants it. Well, clean that out, you know.
What can you do after Madonna? I mean, there's nothing to shock anymore. You know, she did it all.
Yeah, but you know what? She also had some great stuff.
Yeah.
Great stuff. And I mean, I think Lady Gaga's great too. Like, she's a little kooky. She's always
those are fighting words with Ike.
Yeah. You love Lady Gaga
and Lady Gaga.
Oh, okay, I just think I know a lot of the gay boys love her though, so tread lightly.
Well, look what their options are. You know, like you said, it's changing a little bit now. It's shifting, but we still are missing those big voice singers.
Yeah,
you know. I think Celine Dion Kelly Clarkson's actually pretty good. I like her a lot.
Kelly Clarkson, right? But you're right, Celine, Barbara Streisand. I mean, look at who the gay boys, like put on these pedestals, and they deserved it. Yeah, it was amazing singers, right?
I mean, who are you going to put? Selena Gomez? I mean,
I know, poor baby. God bless her soul. Yeah. But a lot of them, they just don't. They don't have it. They don't have it. Although I do, Kelly Clarkson does. She's got pipes.
Yep.
Wow, does she?
Yeah, she's really,
and she seems like a good person too, which I all wrapped in one.
Absolutely. There are certain people that sing and I just melt, you know, and then other people that I'm just impressed with their pipes, you know.
Yeah.
And Celine, she's gone off the deep end in lots of ways, but she's still vocally one of the greatest singers in all the world.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, the greatest singer in all the world, but she's crazy. But when she starts. I'm like, okay, it's all yours.
Yeah, and the beating of the chest. I mean, oh my God.
I know.
Never have to worry about her heart going.
Oh God bless her. She'll wake herself up. Right?
Yeah. Clear.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm back.
My heart will go on.
Like it or not.
So, honey, tell me. So, the songwriters that now it's funny because you said Elton John, Stevie Wonder. All great songwriters. Now, is that what inspired you on your albums? Like, would you wanted to be a great songwriter? Or?
I always gravitated. Like, I did a lot of acting as well, but I really, if I had to choose, my favorite thing to do is songwriting, and I love being in the studio. Like, it's my favorite place to be. Just like once we've laid down tracks, and I work with a lot of different songwriters I like working with different songwriters.
Yes.
Because I like I love collaborating. I love it. I love bringing energies together and seeing where it goes. And sometimes I'll have like a thought, like after when the crazy man that did occupy the White House before this gentleman was in, I won't even, it's like Voldemort. I won't mention that.
Yeah, it's missing in action now.
Right. I was so angry. And I remember I was at the duplex and I just lost my mind. And I was texting my friend Will T. and Hall. He was at the end of the room. And I was like, what are we going to do? And he said, we're going to write a song about it. And so it was just like, I had so much rage. So I wrote these really, really, really angry lyrics, really angry. And he lives near us, Tim. He lives on 170th. So I walked to his apartment, went up there and I said, look, this is what I have. And he was like, Pulpe, because he's British. Okay, like we can write that or we can write a song of hope. And I was like, oh.
Yeah. But I want to call it this.
I want to be angry.
Yes. And that's fine. That's great too. But I got to say, it went in a completely different direction. And I like a challenge.
Yeah.
And then he started playing, like, he's very flourishy when he plays. Like, it's almost, and I felt almost like we were like on a river or an ocean. And that took me in a completely different direction. So we wrote this song called This Is My America. And I'm so proud of it. It's like such a beautiful song, and that what we talk about is like, this is what America is. Like when we talk about the beautiful things, like people came from other countries and my mother, I remember her telling me this story over and over, that when she came from Italy, my whole family's from Italy, and when she came over, they were on a boat for like 8 days, and I think she was 17 or 18. And she said when they pulled into the New York harbor, she ran and got her brother and like woke him up, like, wake up, wake up. And she said that they were like literally had a blanket on, and they looked up and the Statue of Liberty was there. Oh, yeah. I know. And I always like get so choked up.
Yeah.
And she said that she knew they were going to be okay.
Wow.
Now, mind you, they went from like living in like on a farm, and they had a lot more room, but this was after World War II, and they were so, they were just, the country was ruined by the craziness that went on. Yeah. But they came here to escape all that, right? So I personally am a child of immigrants that ran from something terrible. So I have this great love for immigrants, and I feel like if it wasn't for immigrants, like where would we be? So I wrote the song from that point of view, like from my mother's point of view, and like just like the boats of people that came over, looking up at that statue, and it completely changed. Like, but if it wasn't for Will, who's also from another country, he's British, I would have just written this angry song by myself, and that would have been fine. But that's why I like to collaborate.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's just this. So I do tend to really like to write pretty songs. Like I love beautiful melodies, and I love beautiful words, and things like that. Like but it has to be channeled. Like I feel like, unless I'm commissioned to write something, which I also can do, because when I worked with the kids, I used to write songs for their shows. I was commissioned to do that, and I loved it. It was fun. I wrote songs for like The Tempest and a lot of fractured fairy tales. Yeah, fun stuff,
Yeah.
But if I'm writing for myself, I have to be bursting with the emotion that comes through the song, But this is so all my songs, not all, but most of my songs are on my website, mariagentile.com. But my last two songs, which are This Is My America, that is on Spotify.
Okay.
If you just type in,
I will absolutely get it.
I'm very proud of it. And then during the pandemic, I wrote a song with my best friend and musical director, Lynn Portis. And it's called Hiding in a Ghost Town.
Okay.
And that I also took pictures for, and that's on YouTube. If you go to YouTube and you type in Hiding in a Ghost Town, you'll see I took a lot of pictures of what was happening at that point.
Wow, interesting.
Wow, nice.
Because I don't know about you guys, but when I'm scared like that, I have to be creative, because otherwise I'm going to lose my mind.
Yeah. No, it's totally. I write parodies. I'm not like you. You're brilliant. But I come up with like Robert Palmer. What was it? Simply Irresistible.
Yeah.
So when Trump was in, I decided to write words that were called Simply Impeachable.
But that's your and listen, brilliant comedy is brilliance. You can't be funny if you're not. That's wit is intelligence. So I always say that. Like when I work with kids, the funny kid in my class that I always have to try not to laugh at, but I want to laugh at because he's so funny.
Yeah.
Is usually the smartest, not conventionally intelligent,
right?
Unconventionally intelligent,
right?
And that's what I'm interested in as a creative.
Right.
Yeah.
So wit is brilliance. So I correct you on that.
Now you mentioned about the class. Can you tell us a little more about that? About you teaching?
Well, okay. I've been teaching since '92. I started off working in Sunset Park, Brooklyn, for a wonderful social service called Center for Family Life. And what they did was they went into schools. They took two artists, like usually a dancer and a vocalist, and we worked through grants, believe it or not, from the Children's Defense Fund, which was started by Hillary Clinton. One of the many, many reasons that I adore Hillary Clinton, and I'm putting it out into the universe. I want to meet her someday and make her a lasagna. Hillary, if you're listening, I want to make the lasagna.
We're hashtagging it today.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to get this. We're going to make this happen.
This is one of my dreams. But anyway, so I really believe that like my teaching career started because of these grants, and she really cared about like inner city kids and all that. And that was when Giuliani had literally cut something like 68% out of the arts in New York schools.
Yeah.
He was the mayor. So that's another reason why I lean so much towards the, our side of things, because they also care about kids. So I was working with these teachers and artists, and I learned, it was kind of like my boot camp.
Yeah.
I learned so much about what worked and what didn't work, but also about being open, and listening and like exchanges and kids, no matter what neighborhoods they grow up in, whether it's really tough neighborhoods or and then I also have worked in wealthy neighborhoods. I've worked in Morristown, New Jersey, and the Mayo Performing Arts Center, which I still work at from time to time. And they're, very wealthy, well-to-do kids, but they're so respectful and beautiful.
Yeah.
And so it's really like kids are amazing, and they also like music moves them.
Yeah.
No matter what. Like I remember when I didn't know much as a teacher. I was learning myself more than I was teaching. And I took like a secret ballot vote on what they wanted to hear, what they wanted to work on in class.
Okay.
And I thought they were because they were all like really tough, like scrappy Latinos, mostly Latinos. And a lot of them were in gangs. And I was like, I don't know what they want to hear. Like, I want to learn.
Right.
Literally, I would say 90% of them, when I opened the ballots, it was secret ballots, The Little Mermaid.
Oh my God.
I know.
Uh-huh.
That's what they wanted to work on.
Oh.
Wow, nice.
And I was so moved by that. I said, you see, I came in with an idea of what I thought they wanted. That's why it's important but kids are kids, and they love music, and they love Broadway, and they love Disney. And so I try to bring as much, like one of my classes a couple of years ago in Morristown, I worked like just on Sondheim.
Wow.
And they loved it. They were like, they didn't know a lot of that. Some of them did. Some of them are really savvy because their parents, bring them to shows and stuff. But a lot of those kids, so I love like just turning kids on to like things they may have never heard.
Yeah.
And asking them what they like. And I just find them fascinating. I find kids fascinating.
I do too, right? I mean, even I think back to my music teacher, the first thing she played for us in the class this was back in 79. It was the Funny Girl Broadway album. I just became, introduced to Barbara at 13, and I've heard the main event on the radio, and then here it's this Broadway album, and I'm thinking, oh my God, this woman's voice is ridiculous.
It's crazy, right? I know Rizzo needs a little attention. But and you're moved like by the things that you're moved by. My dad was a huge jazz guy, and he also was a huge like soul. He loved soul music. Yeah. So, and my dad's this Italian guy from Italy. He was a hairdresser. But all my influence of African American artists came from my dad.
Said something?
Like you wouldn't even think, but like because that's what he loved.
Yeah.
It's just like what you grow up with.
Yeah.
And music saves our soul.
It really does.
Yeah.
It creates our being too. It helps to form our being.
It absolutely, and it also helps us to find these worlds that we would never have found.
Yeah, escape.
And as gay kids, that was like where we were safe.
Yeah.
And that's where we could shine. And that's where people would applaud our diversity, not knowing we were different, just knowing we were talented.
Right. Isn't that amazing, right? When you think about it, right? How it changed and molded people's lives.
Absolutely.
Now, speaking of music and like cabaret, the Duplex, Brandy's, Stonewall. Tell us about your association with these, because those are some legendary
rooms
in New York City.
Thank you, Tim. There is not a day that goes by that I don't feel eternally grateful for my life and my opportunities. And, you know, a lot of people, like, they aspire to be on Broadway or in dance whatever. Everybody's got their thing, right?
Right.
And those are amazing things. And who wouldn't want those? But I got to tell you, I am living my dream, because my dream is to connect with other human beings on this level. Like, and as a comedian, you know, and you too, like Tim, like you're in the clubs, you know what I'm talking about, you guys. It's like this lateral connection where you literally feel other people's energy.
Excellent.
There is no substitute for that.
No.
I love, like, just connecting with human beings, and people come back and see you. So I've been at the Duplex, was the first place that I worked. Actually, the Five Oaks. Anybody remember the Five Oaks? Okay.
No, I don't.
It was way back in the early 90s. It was an amazing little club downstairs, and then they sold it, but I worked at while they were, like, kind of changing over. So that was a kind of an amazing, legendary place. The Duplex, I've been there since 1998. I used to so 23 years. I was like a puppy when I started working there.
Yeah.
But it must have been such a great time to be around, like, all the great entertainers that were coming up.
Like Poppy was there.
Yeah.
Poppy and Poppy's 10 years younger than me. And we used to joke about that, because, you know, she would always be so scared of her age. That was her big thing. And I'd say, Poppy, I'm always going to be older than you. Like, you know, but she was really young when she started there. And so I was there, Poppy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I still, I'm in total denial. I feel like she's going to show up.
Thank you. You know, thank you. Right? Isn't that the worst feeling?
Yeah, I'm like, one of these episodes.
It's disappointing.
And laugh really loud and be like, "Oh, I was just kidding."
Yeah.
But anyway, so I've been at the Duplex since 1998. I used to work there 4 nights a week. Now I'm only there on Wednesdays. That's my night. I love it. I'm having a great time. Mondays, I'm at the Stonewall Inn.
Okay.
As you walk in, you go to the back and you go upstairs. And now there's a piano bar up there, which wasn't there. But during the pandemic, a lot of the clubs were closed. And they were, they started to open. They were like, "Hey, do you want to, we'll create something. Let's just have music again." And we did that upstairs. Now they had, like, this plexiglass we had to be behind. We had to wear gloves, the whole thing. And Brandy's Piano Bar, which I just am crazy about it there. I've been subbing there for, like, maybe 12 years. And now I work there permanently, but I'm there Fridays and Saturdays. And the guy that owns it now, he's one of us in that he started in Piano Bar. He started in the clubs. He was a singer, a director. He knew all the old time people. And he's one of us in the sense that he understands, like, the daily grind of working in this.
Right.
And he really always says, "Look, you guys don't need me to micromanage you. Just throw a party. I trust you."
Yeah.
Nice.
It's better than that, you know?
Yeah.
His name is Jim Lazar, and I just am crazy about him. He's a great guy. But what I love is that you don't know from night to night to night, like, the variables and the combinations of people that are going to be out there, what people are going to request, and I am someone that likes a challenge of a crowd. I don't know if you feel the same way.
Yeah.
When people are like, "Oh shit, the crowd is crazy tonight." I'm like, "Let me at them."
Yeah.
Yes.
Crazier
the better.
Yes.
There's that part of me that's kind of got, like, a little mom thing going on.
Yeah.
I'm going to get these kids to behave.
Yes.
Right? They're going to listen to me. You know, but what it really is, like, to me, because I worked in social work, I know that when I take them the same, kids are loud.
Yes.
They're just dying for your attention.
Amen.
Yeah.
What I do is I give them the attention that they are seeking.
Yes.
So if there's a rambunctious nutbag in the group, I say, "Okay, come here." And I bring them up. Now that already they deflate.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Because you call them out, and now they're like, "Oh, I didn't want that much attention."
Yeah.
Now they're accountable.
Yeah.
And usually, like, we'll talk a little bit, get their name, and then I always say, "I know what you really want is a hug." And every
Oh,
time
that's great.
it's like a moment that we have, but and sometimes some people are so crazy that you have to use them as the brunt of the joke.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yep. Make them the joke. Yeah.
Make them the joke. So I like that kind of a challenge.
Yeah.
And in the beginning of the night, I'll do really high up tempos. And I also do a lot of comedy songs. Like I'll take certain songs and like I do like a Cher, Gypsy Tramps and Thieves, and I do a whole crazy thing about Cher and finding a boy with assless chaps in the prairie. I never know what well, that's what happened to Cher, So I love that stuff.
That is great.
I never know what's going to happen. I love it. I love the opportunities that presents nightly for spontaneous energy changes.
My first experience doing an open mic was in New York City at the Duplex. Poppy Kramer, she was bartending. She was hosting it. I forget what it was called. Suddenly, that's it. Yep. And then it was Michael Brill. I remember right after that, and I kept doing, and I loved it. The energy, the crowd. Like you said, I can't handle a crowd that has it's like dead above the head. Like there's nothing. That's a challenge.
Yes, I agree. But as far as singing goes, like when a crowd is like that, then I do like pretty stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, they want to hear like just pretty things. Like they want to hear Landslide, or they want to hear Gladys Knight, or they want to hear Beautiful City. Like I have, everybody's got their stuff. Or Sarah Bareilles, they want to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
They want to, sometimes people are on dates. I always like, well, I'll find them, I'll find people. Or
so you take requests like at Brandy's, or
sure.
That's nice.
I'll do them, of course. I'm all about that. Like whatever, I want to make you happy. I'm totally independent. It's like I want you to love me. I always say that to people. Like, why do you think we go into this business? It's not for the money. There isn't any.
Yeah.
I mean, we make our money in other ways. I was talking to my dentist yesterday. I have this new amazing dentist, and he's really great. He's also a musician, but like a classically trained musician. Huh. And so he's kind of like always asking me about music.
Okay.
And his challenge is that he doesn't know how to. He's just technical and doesn't always know how to connect, and doesn't give himself permission. So we talked about that, and I'm like, how great is it that I'm talking to my dentist? Who's like, and he makes great money. And I said, listen, but he's like, but that's what I really wanted to do. And I said, but listen, what you do now, and you can finance your art that way. Whereas like, if you're just looking for your art to finance your life, it's not always going to happen.
Right.
Like I have to bartend with my job so I can make good money. Because if not, there's not always going to be a singing job that's going to pay me the money that I need to pay my rent.
The times have changed. I mean, I talked to friends who were in the 80s performing, getting paid crazy money, and going out to the Hamptons, going out to Fire Island, and they were being put up. They were traveling. Now, good luck. You're scratching on the doors to get in and beat the other person. And
because a lot of things have gone digital. They don't need us much anymore. But I got to tell you, same thing. I made so much money in the 80s. It was obscene. And I don't know what I did with it.
Right.
Well, we do know what we did with it.
But it's okay.
It's okay.
Exactly. We were young. We were living.
Right. I was in my 20s. I was like, that's what you do in your 20s.
Absolutely.
But so there's like something to every decade has something to offer. It's like, I feel like just be flexible. It's almost like you're on a raft in the ocean. You just,
you're right.
See where it takes you, and and keep your eyes open.
Yeah. And survive.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. Now, Tim and I were a guest on What's the Story with Maria?
That's what I wanted to talk about next. Yep.
How did that all happen?
Okay. So I'm sorry. I feel like I'm talking so much.
No, God, I love it. Are you kidding me? This is what we lived for.
Okay, because I can talk. Oh my God. Okay, so during the pandemic, as we all know, our city shut down, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in entertainment. I work in bars. I teach, all that stuff. All the stuff that I was doing closed down.
Right.
And the first 6 weeks, I couldn't even get unemployment because I was teaching 2 hours a week, 2 hours a week, because everything had closed. Because I teach performing arts after school.
Yeah.
So I wasn't an essential teacher.
Mm-hmm.
So because I was teaching 2 hours a week, I was considered still employed.
Oh, jeez.
Yes. So for the first 6 weeks, I couldn't get anything. So I literally blew through my savings.
Oh
my God.
I was like, oh my God. I mean, thank God I had a little bit of savings, but
still,
my rainy day money was gone. And I thought,
oh my God,
what am I going to do? And then when unemployment kicked in, because we're tipped workers, how much can you get in unemployment? Not much, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Although I was grateful. Thank you, City of New York. I was so grateful for what I did get. But I said to myself, I have to do something and now.
Right.
And so my friend Bill Goffey loves my sauce, and I've always made him sauce. I'll cook for him and he bakes for me. And he said, you know what, that bolognese of yours, you should sell that shit. I said, who's going to buy bolognese? Who the hell is going to buy sauce? Are you crazy?
Yes. Right.
I'm telling you, most people don't like to cook.
Right.
So as a joke on Facebook, I wrote, Crazy Bill Goffey says I should sell my sauce. Would anybody even be interested? I doubt it. In 2 hours, I had 40 responses. I don't mean like, hey, I'd love it. Like the people that type in. I mean like texts. Are you really making sauce? I'll buy it. Call.
Yeah.
It's like, no, seriously, how much? Like, I have 4 kids. Like I'm stuck in the house with these kids. I don't know how to cook. I was like, oh my God. All right. So then I just had to do some research about how many quarts do I
right.
Quickly. I just started. I was like, oh my God, what should I do? So I just started saying, okay, private message me. And I, within weeks, was making from between 40 and 60 quarts a week.
Wow.
And I was delivering it because people did not want to leave the house. So and I have a car.
Yeah.
So what I said was, listen, and they were like, well, we can't. I'm like, don't worry, I'll bring it to you. They're like, but I live in Morristown. I'm like, I'll do a Jersey. Right. I'll do a Jersey day.
Right.
I'll just, I'll do one day that's just Jersey. I'll do one day that's Queens and Brooklyn. I'll do another day that's just Manhattan, or another day that's the Bronx. And that's how I started doing it. And it's just it took off.
That's incredible. From something that was completely devastating, you turned it around and created such an amazing product.
I had to, because I was like, what can I do by myself where I don't need another human being to help me, because we couldn't be together, right?
Right.
And something that comes natural to me, and I love to cook. It calms me down.
Yeah.
So it was something that calmed me down. Like I could do it at 4 a.m.
Right.
And so that's what I started doing. I started cooking at crazy hours, and then I would get in the car with all these crazy bags and deliver. And it just started to, but this is important, because if you cook commercially, you have to rent a commercial kitchen.
Right.
Like if I were to cook and say, bring it to Whole Foods or even a flea market or something. But because if you cook for family and friends, you can cook out of your kitchen.
That's amazing. And that's all the research you did to find all that out, obviously, right?
I mean, now I don't make that at all, because I'm working back to work for 5 or 6 days a week. So what I do now is I'll cook for all my friends at work.
Yeah.
And I say, I'll bring it to work. And that's, mainly now it's just for bartenders and customers. Sometimes they'll come in and be like, oh, well, if you're going to cook for Bobby Belfry, can I get one? Or,
Yeah.
But if I had more time, I'd do it more. But I love to cook. I love it. I'm glad you guys like it.
Well, that's where I think, Tim, you would do the segue. So we have a segment in our show, Maria, and it's called "What the Hell Did I Just Put in My Mouth?" And today we have, go ahead, keep eating.
Go ahead.
And I have mananan and meatballs, and I am so I have been waiting for this.
And I have Spanish spicy sausage, and it has been sitting here right beside me.
Oh,
I am ready.
Smelling, and we're talking food and all this, and I'm like,
yes.
There goes my
and I cannot wait to sink my teeth into this.
Mm. Oh.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, that's delicious.
Mm.
Oh, and I got the meatball too.
That's just the reaction I want.
Oh my God, the sauce, it has a little sweet to it.
And I don't use sugar, by the way.
Huh?
I don't use any sugar.
Oh my God.
That's got to be just the what do you call it? The natural.
Yeah, but you know what? It's a great. I won't give all my secrets away, but I do use wine, so the sweetness comes from the wine.
From the wine, because there's a little sweet to it, and I love that. But first of all,
one of my secrets, which I will share with people, is my Aunt Anna taught me this. If you want to sweeten your sauce, put a large carrot in your sauce, not peeled or anything. Just put. I mean, wash it, of course. You know, you can even like kind of grind it a little bit to get those. And just put it in the sauce. And what it does two things. It neutralizes it. So it's not, it takes the acid right out of the sauce. Mm-hmm. And it sweetens it.
Never would have
so that is a natural. And then once the sauce is done, I just take the carrot out and throw it away. But
well, I have to tell you, Maria, this first I want everybody to see the size of these meatballs.
That's why I call them mighty meatballs.
Mighty friggin' and this reminds me of my aunt, who she used to cook the Italian. She had every Sunday was orange soda. She'd make the big meatballs, but she would mash the meatballs up and put like ricotta on it, and we would just eat the meatballs.
I cannot stop eating that.
And that you're having the spicy sausage, which so that's my favorite. The spicy sausage is my favorite, and I'll tell you how that came to be. One of the other things I did during the pandemic were sometimes I would cook for people. So I had these two women that were, they were kind of housebound because they had pre-existing conditions and they didn't want to leave. And they were a couple, very sweet. They're a little bit older than me, not much, but they didn't want to leave the house. One of them had a heart condition. And they called me and said, would you consider cooking for us? I was like, sure. So what we did was we went through a list of things that they liked, and I would let them do. And then every week I would make them 2 trays of whatever, you know.
Nice.
So they love sausage and peppers, and so one week I went and bought sausage, and I realized I had not gotten the sweet because they didn't like spicy. I got the spicy, and I was like, what am I going to do with all these sausage? Oh. So I had sauce that I'd made, some marinara, and I was like, just throw them in there. And all of a sudden I was like, this is I don't know what the hell this is, but this is my favorite. So I tweaked it, and then I turned it into what you're having there. And that's my favorite.
This is the real deal. None of that jar crap. You know what I mean?
No. Oh, right.
There's not one preservative in there. Now
that's how you know.
But the problem with that is you can't just keep it in the refrigerator. You have to eat it within a week. You know?
Well, I have mine in the freezer because Tim gave me specific instructions when he got here. In the freezer if you're not going to eat it in 4 days.
Then it's best. You know, like I bring food to my dad. He lives in Boston. And when I go home, I cook a bunch of stuff for him. And I go, Dad, just break it up into like portions. Yeah, and that's what we do. We put it in portions, and then he can take it out from the freezer and defrost it for the next day. Little, every day a little bit of something different.
Right.
So,
Maria,
there's no preservatives. Garbage. It's all good stuff. It's all crushed tomatoes, tomato paste, wine.
It's all 100% natural.
I hope people don't mind because I've been sitting here munching.
I'm so happy
right now.
That's another thing. There's nothing that makes me happier than people enjoying my food.
Oh, no. And then you were telling us prior to coming on, right before we came on and started recording, you were telling us about how you were doing the shrimp with the with the sauce with the marinade.
Oh no, I'm sorry, Fra Diablo.
Diablo, that's it.
So what I do, one of the reasons that I like them, so the marinara is just, that's like a vegan vegetable. There's no dairy in there. It's just like tomatoes and vegetables. I use basil. I use crushed red peppers, all that stuff for the spicy stuff. But I use really good ingredients, onions, basil, And that's just a beautiful base, beautiful sauce. Clean. You can use that for lasagna if you're vegetarian, even if you're not. But now, here's what I love about that sauce. You can add anything you want to that. So let's say you want a vodka sauce. Put a little vodka and a little cream in there, and now you've got a vodka sauce. Yeah, you can turn that into anything. You want to turn that into a fra diavolo, for like shrimp, like cook some shrimp and some butter and olive oil, and garlic is my favorite thing in the world. Garlic, white wine, and then add it to the marinara with a ton of crushed red peppers. You've got a fra diavolo now.
Where did you learn all of this?
My mother we were super, super, super poor as kids.
Yeah.
And my mother was handicapped, and my dad, they both worked night and day. But my mother I never knew I was poor, and I never knew my mother was handicapped because she was happy, and she
did everything.
She cooked like a dream. Yeah. So my favorite dishes were my mother's dishes. Like, I didn't want to go to a restaurant. My mother was like an amazing chef, but she was creative is what she was.
Right.
I realized that when I was older. So I would sit with her, like literally as young as I can remember, she'd put me on a little chair, a little stool, and she would sit me there with her. And so lots of times I'd be like, I fasted, and she'd say, okay, now I'm going to have you do this. Or you do that. You're going to fry that while I'm doing this. And I was like, I took it very seriously. And it was just my time with her. And because she worked two jobs. I very rarely saw her when I was little. And I knew her. So my time with her was when we cooked. Yep. So that to me is time with my mother, even though she's passed away now for 12 years. But when I cook, my mother is with me still. Yeah. I have a picture of her in the kitchen. I have a wall of roses that one of my friends painted on my wall. Wall of roses, and my mother is hanging there.
It's beautiful.
Came over from Italy, and I'm just like, and I have these beautiful lights around her, and
tribute to Mom, right? I love that.
Well, Maria, I have to show you one thing.
And I have to tell you, Maria, my 79-year-old Italian mom is upstairs, and before I came down, she had a plate full of spaghetti with this, and my mom is like 4 words. Holy shit, this is good.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, she was up there enjoying it.
I'm ready for a nap, man.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? I'll tell you a crazy story. You don't have to put this in the show, but this is a true story. They're all true stories. But my mother was, the last 2 years of her life, she was very sick. She had cancer, although that wasn't her. She had a lot of other issues because she was sick. But my mother's favorite day of the year was Thanksgiving. She used to cook this incredible meal, right? Like huge for so many people. So it was Thanksgiving that year. My mother was really sick. And my father said, don't bother to come home. Your mother's she's not even responding anymore, and it's not even worth it. So I said, okay, I'm going to cook for my friends. And I had like 10 people over, and I had started to cook my turkey, and the stove was not working. I was like, I had this like literally 20-pound turkey. I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I called my super. He was so sweet. He came up and he goes, this is the weirdest thing in the world. The tube that goes into the wall, what connects the gas, is detached. I have no idea how that happened. It's like, that's bizarre.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So he attached it, and then they got it working. I was like, okay, thank you. He said, I've never seen that. Anyway, I continued to cook and all that. Well, that night, my sister called me and she said, I didn't want to call you today because I knew you were cooking, but Mom passed away. The time that my mom passed away was when that stove incident happened. It gives me chills every time. And I think this is just for us, like, I mean, you can put it on if you want to tell them.
If you don't mind, I would like to,
Of course. I mean, I just didn't want to bring it down. But my point I'm making is my mother is in the kitchen with me always.
Yep. Even
that day. Her favorite day was Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And that's the day she chose to leave because it was her favorite day. So, And the fact that literally the weirdest thing, I know that my mother was trying to say, I gotta go.
Yep.
And I mean, what are the chances that something would come undone like that?
Right.
Yeah. It's bizarre, the signs that people leave, you know, for us to say, you know what? Oh my God, there is hope that somebody's looking. And Tim and I just experienced it last Wednesday with my partner.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It was just the most incredible moment. And I love that you shared that, because that gives me more hope again, that it wasn't just me. Other people are experiencing that as well.
Absolutely, 100%. And be open to it.
Right.
And everything comes in signs, like little signs. It won't, I mean, it won't be what you think it is.
Right.
It'll be something completely different. Like after Poppy passed away, I was so upset, like all of us were, right? And I didn't understand. And Poppy used to do this amazing impression of me. Not many people do an impression of me, but I used to pee my pants. It was so funny. And she would always end it with, Poppy, don't panic. Don't panic. I would say that to her all the time, because she was always in love with some girl, and she would always kind of be like, don't panic. Anyway, so I parked my car.
My God.
I parked my car one night far, far away. You know our neighborhood sometimes, Tim, you can't always find parking, right?
Yep, exactly.
I parked so far away. And when I went to get this car, it was pouring rain. The next day, I'm like, oh my God, this is like 12 blocks. I'm walking. It's raining. I'm angry.
In there, yep.
I walk right up to my car, and right behind it is a black car, all black windows, everything. And on the windshield, it says, don't
panic.
Again, I understand it. What?
Yeah,
I love it.
And I laughed out loud.
I
said, Poppy, I know you're laughing right now.
Yep. Yes.
You know, I mean, weird, crazy things like that. So
Yep.
Be open. Know that person is trying to reach you.
Yeah.
And know that every soul has its way of transcending, and every soul has a purpose in this world, and a time when they elevate, or they go to a different plane to learn a different lesson. But they are always around us, not in a bad way, not like they're spying on us or anything like that. Yeah. It's just like this great. They know they're loved. They know we love us, and you will get signs that you will not believe.
Yeah. Yeah, but my his name was Tyrone, but we used to call him Ty. Yeah. So my mom and I, it's Saturday after you left him, but we were driving, and we just started to talk about him, and an 18-wheeler went by, and on the license plate it said TYE.
Yeah. And
I said, "You got to be kidding me!"
Right. Exactly. Yep. You see what I mean? Yep. Like, it's crazy. My grandfather died. His name was Jerry. He was like the hero in my movie. He was the first person really in my family to die, where I was like really young, and I was like, I was working in Brooklyn at the time, and I was so sad. Like, I didn't want to go to work. I didn't want to do anything. And I walked out of the subway, and I was just walking, and I looked up. They were doing construction on a building, and somebody had gone to the top of the building and spray painted, Jerry Lives.
Oh my goodness.
What?
Right.
Who like, did they mean Jerry Garcia? Did they mean?
Right. Yeah. No explanation.
I don't know.
No explanation, but it's a sign.
It's a sign, literally a sign. So who knows? Yeah. And there's a great medium called James Van Praagh. I love him.
To share that.
James,
message me.
VAN and then capital PRAAGH, Praagh, Van Praagh, James Van Praagh. He's an amazing medium, and he you can find him online, but I've seen him a few times. I've gone to see him live. He blows your mind. But he talks all about he talks all about like signs and how people try to. That's how they reach us. They reach us in signs.
I love that. And I've been looking for a medium, believe it or not, in the last few days.
Yeah, he's amazing. If you go, I mean, you're going to love him. Just look for James Van Prague. He's online. He does a lot of different things. But I believe in all that stuff.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah, I didn't for a minute, but now I'm seeing things. I'm just like, wow.
Exactly.
You know, you need something to make you a believer, and eventually it happens.
Yeah.
I'm so happy.
Oh, I love that you're having sauce.
I love it.
Now, dude, who got the chicken soup? I made you a chicken soup too.
Oh my God, we split it.
That was delicious too.
So
Good God.
What I did with the chicken soup was I just made that like an off the cuff thing for Christmas for friends, right? But because I'm like you guys, we're like always theatrical. I said, well, I'm going to make it like if the three kings were bringing chicken soup to Jesus.
Yeah.
As a gift, what would it taste like?
Well, I have to say that it was divine.
Yeah. Yeah, I said Jesus a few times, Maria.
Yeah. Beautiful. Well, that mission accomplished.
Yeah.
But I used spices from the Middle East. So I got from Yemen, Israel, and the Orient.
Oh God.
And that's what I did.
So tasty.
Yeah.
And again, not like the canned crap, you know, you open it up and you smell the fresh. It was just delicious.
Everything's fresh. There's no garbage in any of it.
No, exactly.
Yeah. So
speaks volumes. Yeah. Now, Maria, we did our segment. What the hell did I just put in my mouth? Now we're going to play another game, and Tim is going to explain this one.
Okay.
You know which one?
It's called What is Maria Thinking?
Oh.
And Ike and I will have like little
cards.
Pieces of paper or cards.
Okay.
And he'll give you two choices.
Okay.
Like he will say, this is the practice round. He'll say hot or cold. Like, which do you prefer? But don't say anything. And then we'll write it down.
See what you would say.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. This is so fun.
I'm ready. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yes.
Ike? Okay. So hot or cold?
What would you say, Maria?
To what question?
No. What would you take? Would you take hot or would you like cold? Do you prefer hot or do you prefer cold?
Weather, I prefer cold. But food, what? You both had it?
I had hot.
Yeah, I did too.
Wow.
I figured you liked summertime. But that's
I like it. I mean, I like it a lot, but I grew up in Boston, so.
Oh, yeah.
I like the cold, and as I get older, I'm always like on fire anyway. I'm always bursting.
Yeah.
You can ask your mother, she'll tell you.
Yeah, well, please. I put the sauce on her and it boiled.
Right, you see? So I prefer, weather-wise, I do prefer the cold. Plus, because I love to eat and I get a little chubby in the winter, I can put sweatshirts on and not care. In the summer, I can't do that. I have to I go on the keto.
Okay. All right. So now the next one is, and don't say the answer, Barbara Streisand or Judy Garland.
Wow.
Okay. You can say your answer, Maria.
100% Barbara Streisand.
Bam.
Did you get it? Yes.
Yeah, we both did.
I love her.
Isn't she?
Yeah. Oh,
my girlfriend really loves her. Like, it's ridiculous how much she loves her.
same here.
Yeah. I think she is she is the greatest entertainer of all time.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. And
everything. She's the whole package.
Yeah.
The whole package. All right. Yeah. Paul Lynde or Charles Nelson Riley?
Tell me when I can answer. Great questions, by the way.
All right. Ready?
Paul Lynde.
Bam.
Damn. Oh, this might be a tie.
Wow.
This might be a tie.
Wow, you guys are good.
All right. Martini or mojito?
That's tough.
I have a feeling this one's going to break it. All right, I'm ready.
Well, when I did drink, I drank a lot, and I loved a dirty vodka martini.
I had mojito.
Oh, but Okay, you see why this was tough. I'll tell you why this was tough, because I love to create drinks. And at Stonewall, what I do is every Monday I bring in different fruit. I do a featured fruit of the night. And I do fruity drinks for fruity people.
Love it.
That's my thing. And I make like it'll be apples one night, and I'll do all kinds of apple drinks. So I tend to like to make beautiful martini kind of drinks, like but also fruity. So that's where the mojito would come in. But I did prefer, when I drank, I preferred a martini.
Same. So that's funny, because that's another thing of like artistry. Like you're doing like the mixology, you're creating all different kinds of drinks.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that creative aspect too. All right, one more.
Okay.
Haagen-Dazs or Ben and Jerry's?
Oh, impossible to answer.
Oh God.
Because I love both of them.
Mm-hmm. It's like picking your favorite child.
Yeah.
I know which one I'm going to pick, because I eat more of that.
Okay, go ahead.
Ben and Jerry's.
I had Haagen-Dazs.
So did I.
Well, I have a Haagen-Dazs in there right now in my freezer, but my favorite ice cream of all time is Ben and Jerry's New York Super Fudge Chunk.
Oh, yum.
But they're both, I mean, you can't really, it's a hard one.
Yep.
I'm glad it was a tie.
No, I won.
He won.
I won.
Yeah.
First time, Maria. And we've been doing this show for a year.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's going to say I cheated.
He did.
Wow. Well, I was sending him telepathic messages. So maybe he did cheat a little bit. I was like,
yeah, I got you.
Well, those are good questions.
Maria, this is the end of the show.
Oh, I had so much fun.
Great.
Yeah, we adore you. You are such a beautiful human being. Thank you for being here. You know, I can't wait to see you in person. I want to come down to Brandy's and
yeah, definite.
They're all great. They're all great in the different ways, you know. Different nights, depends. But if you're coming down, let me know you're coming down. So I'll save you.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay. Definitely. But this is where we wave goodbye, Maria.
Oh, thank you. I had so much fun.